This is Gerardo Del Real with Resource Stock Digest. Joining me today is the president and CEO of Banyan Gold, Miss Tara Christie. Tara, it's great to have you back on. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me back. I think it's a pretty exciting time for all of us in the gold business.
Well, listen, it's we chatted a few months back and we talked a bit off air, and it's amazing what a couple of months will do, not just on the macro side, but on the micro side as well. We have a gold price that is just above 2,300 as we speak. It's flirted with the 2,400 level pretty consistently here recently. It looks to have a lot of momentum the rest of the year, and I think we're in for a pretty historic gold market. You have positioned Banyan perfectly with a 7 million ounce resource, tons of exploration upside, excellent infrastructure, and really top notch technical work that I know in the retail environment, especially, gets overlooked a lot, but is so critical when you're a takeout target the way I believe your company is. So I wanted to have you back on just to chat current gold price environment and how Banyan is benefiting or not benefiting from that. And then let's talk technical stuff and what comes next.
That's great context because a lot of the juniors haven't seen the impact of gold price yet. And yet being positioned, we're seeing exactly what was predicted. Gold prices are up. Central banks, we got lots of central bank. I think this morning I saw a statistic that central bank buying from China is up 23% over what it was last year at this time of year, even at these higher prices. We're seeing cash flows, some great numbers from Agnico and Newmont and others that are putting out, yeah, we're making a lot of money at these gold prices. Then it'll be the next, step down. We are seeing some pretty exciting mergers and acquisitions. Some of them are still at the bargain basement prices, which is not where I want to see Banyan for sure, because, I think we've got an asset that is very desirable. Not very many places with 7 million ounces, road accessible, hydropower, exploration upside, easy mining, permittable jurisdiction. So I think, in context, this is kind of what you could expect. A little bit more time, 6 months from now, is going to be a very different environment. And I think we will start to see retail come in. Retail's been slow, coming into the market. Actually, a lot more Asian, some more U.S. Retail interest than Canadian, which I think is, normally it's the Canadian retail that's in mining first.
What's interesting about that is there's so much central bank buying, but it's not coming from the Western central banks. And so it's interesting to me that that's a trend that you're noticing even on the retail front. You've positioned the company for 2024 to have catalyst after catalyst after catalyst. And I want to get into what the rest of the year looks like, because I mentioned some of the important technical work that you're doing, but you also have some pretty important exploration that I think is going to unlock a lot of value for shareholders this year.
Absolutely. And it's a combination of that. So this first winter, we haven't been drilling, but we've had a lot of time to do some technical work, really look at what holes are going to add value. We have a fairly strong treasury. Unlike lots of companies, we've been able to conserve cash and we have revenue. And so over this winter, 7 million ounces is significant. We wanted to wait till the results of our scoping study work to really help guide us so we can focus some of our drilling on what the key economic drivers are. The metallurgical work that we're doing, super important. That goes right to, some of that will add percentages to our IRR when we do our PEA. We're not in a rush to do a PEA. We really wanted to understand the different processes first, because we still have optionality, which, people say, well, why don't you just pick one and follow up on that? So that will actually, scare away a few different potential acquirers or investors or strategics if we do that too soon. And really, the economics need to drive that. And some companies might pay a higher upfront capital cost, and can, because it's a 30 or 40-year asset. And they'll put in that greater infrastructure, whereas there's some that are still kind of the, what's the lowest capital cost option, which is usually your heap leach or the gravity flotation mill, because in our situation, only a 4% mass pull. So that's actually a pretty low CapEx option for us. So, we were in a really unique spot. Not very many companies actually have optionality on their project. And so we've done that. We now know those drivers. We'll have our next phases of metallurgy out through the year, which will be some, I think, significant catalysts for us. Along with a very strategically planned drill program, we've had time to look at every hole, both the ones that are going to have some higher grade, confirm our structural geological model in our starter pit areas, the ones which are going to show that we have not only 7 million ounces, but just at Ormac alone, I think there's the potential for it to host 10 million ounces plus, which, we know this mineralization goes to depth. We've only drilled to 200 meters. We've started to do some of the technical work to really hone in on the intrusive. And remember, that's the key difference between us and Snowline and Sitka. They found their intrusives. Sitka's is pretty deep. Snowline's fairly remote. Where's ours? We've really started to do some technical work to understand that. And beyond that, we're going to continue to position this project so it can be moved forward quickly in permitting. A lot of projects might miss this gold cycle. Who knows how long this gold cycle will be? Maybe it's prolonged because it's got such momentum behind it. Well, there's not very many North American projects, so safe jurisdictions like ours, that could actually be in construction in 4 to 5 years from making your decision on the project and having a PEA. So that makes us unique, kind of a unicorn out there.
No, I couldn't agree with you more. Again, it's rare to have a 7 million ounce project with, and I said it already, right? But great exploration upside, the infrastructure that you have, the technical work that you've done. And again, you touched on not yet finding the intrusive and understanding that a little bit better. You may not even have found the sweet spot yet of the mineralization. So all of that has got to be music to Banyan shareholder ears. Tara, anything else that you'd like to add before I let you go? I appreciate the update. I'm sure shareholders will as well.
I think our team has worked really hard to manage our capital, and you'll notice that 85% of our dollars go in the ground, and we have real skin in the game. So for me, it matters what the share price is. Dilution matters. I had to buy my position in the market. So I'm very cognizant of what we are doing and what the long-term value is for the shareholders. So we're driven by that. I got a great team that shares that view, and then really wants to see our legacy to be that this project, adds a lot of value for our shareholders, is really positive for the community, and ultimately, I'd love to see this project get built. We started to call ourselves Yukon's next gold mine, forward-looking, but I think it's a great place to be in, and worked most of my career to get here. So thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it, and look forward to an exciting year from Banyan.
Always a great conversation, always insightful. And look, Banyan is by far one of the best run gold companies in the entire space. Kudos to you and your team in the way you approach it. Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
All right, chat soon. Bye now.
Bye.
Hey everybody, Gerardo Del Real here. If you're enjoying the content that you just saw, you can let us know in 3 simple steps. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and please share across your network and on social media. Take care, everybody.